Well, our state's Western heritage is something most all Oklahomans are proud of, but too often take for granted, which is why a Marlow businessman decided to expand on that town's illustrious Western heritage and create his own Old West outpost. Our Alisa Hines takes us there.
From the clang of the blacksmith's anvil to gun safety demonstrations, even fighting saloon girls, it's just your typical day at Snake River Junction, where Oklahoma history comes alive. And according to creator Orvel Robinson, visitors learn how it really was in the Old West.
They're going to see what our founding fathers actually went through. Everything we do here, we try to do it all authentic. The old buildings, they're all built back in the 1870s standards. Including their clothes.
Now, part of that authenticity is how they functioned way back when, like the blacksmith.
I'm going to lay it on top.
They're going to learn how the wagon wheels and all are repaired. The blacksmiths teach them how they did that. They teach them when they needed something made out of metal, the blacksmiths made it.
And of course, what would a Wild West town be without a saloon?
The old saloon that you see across the way actually sat on the Chisholm Trail back in 1879. It disappeared around 1902. No one knew what happened to it. And about 3 years ago, a guy called us and said he had that building. If we wanted it, we could have it.
The Blue Goose Saloon is straight out of history, complete with bullet holes.
And we did the research on the Blue Goose Saloon. There was another one called the Klondike, and it was so mean the law tore it down. And the Blue Goose was kind of the class act of the saloons. They didn't put up with baloney in there. A U.S. Marshal actually got shot in that saloon, and the bullet holes are still in the wall, and we enshrined them for everyone to see from now on, since we have the documentation on that.
As you can see, history plays a pivotal role in Snake River Junction. Just ask Mayor Smythe, a.k.a. D.B. Green, the local history buff.
And I think one of the questions when someone would see this, well, why in the world is this here? Why is this? And it's really kind of a twofold thing. It is a in the realm of the community, and maybe particularly Orvel Robinson, it was a situation where you had a commitment to history. The history, we have a very unique history in Marlow and in this area with the Chisholm Trail and all those things that go with our history, as well as a dedication to his community and perhaps in that community to tourism and using tourism as economic development.
So with the help of the citizens of Marlow, they created Snake River Junction and all the excitement that goes along with it, including gunfights. After the smoke clears, Steve Bond of the Marlow Gunfighters Association, aka Slim, gets to get up and says people think it's just like John Wayne and the Wild West.
It's just basically a whole lot of fun. You always heard the expression like entertainers that when they get on stage they become somebody else. You really do. You put an outfit on and get out in front of a crowd and you become whatever character you want. And you don't think about being self-conscious or talking in front of crowds or anything else. It's really a blast.
Just guys like me, and some of them work for Halliburton, some live in Duncan, some Marlow, some at Bray. It's just guys that want something to do on a weekend. You know, you have a number of guys that don't drink and chase wild women, so we do something else.
You fake it.
There you go.
And that something else is a trip through history for all to see and hear. Like Edmond's Dead City Outlaws, just some of the entertainment Orvel plans to bring here on a regular basis. Kind of a, if you build it, they'll come.
I guess everyone still has that 10-year-old in there. I'm sure that you like to play cowboys and Indians back when you were younger, and that's actually how this got started. We decided we needed to promote the Old West, and it goes over real big. It's good for the tourist industry, and you know as well as I do that if you pull a tourist into your town, that's the ideal thing because they come in and spend their money and then they're gone. And that's what we're trying to attempt to do here in southwest Oklahoma.
And joining me now in studio is our Alisa Hines. Well, certainly an historic area and the ideal place for a western town.
Oh, absolutely. It is situated right on the Chisholm Trail. In fact, 3 of the trails go directly around the town itself. And for the Oklahoma history buff, it's a perfect place to visit.
Now, Snake River Junction is just right outside of Marlow, which has its own unique history.
That's right. The town is made up, pretty much named after the Marlow family, and for the most part, the 5 brothers have their own unique little history too. They were kind of unjustly accused of horse thieving, and while they were in prison, one brother escaped, and so they decided to move the brothers to another town. Well, while they were doing that, there was a lynch mob waiting for them, and they've been known as the only shackled prisoners to ever escape and defend themselves against a mob.
Yeah, and some of the brothers went on to live and went on to live in Colorado, and such a story that it was even made into a movie?
It was. The John Wayne movie called The Sons of Katie Elder is loosely based on the Marlow brothers themselves.
Well, certainly an historic area, and if you'd like to know more about that history, we do have a web-only feature on our website about the Chisholm Trail, and just go to okhorizon.com and click on this week's Value Added.